Well, if you are a parent helping your child out financially through university, you may be wondering how much to budget for monthly expenses. And as it turns out, many parents are wondering, and playing the guessing game is never a good thing. So joining us now with more is Jeffrey Schwartz with the Consolidated Credit Counseling Services Canada. Thanks so much for being with us, Jeffrey.
It's a pleasure. Good morning.
So a recent poll by CIBC shows 39% of parents say their child's education ended up costing more than they budgeted for.
That's not surprising,
No.
Especially if you're new to this. It's going to be hard to get a firm and hard number as to what it's going to cost you throughout your child's education.
That's right. So how much does it cost on average? Do you have any idea about that?
Well, I think the same study showed that it's somewhere around $1,300 a month, a little bit over $1,300 a month,
right.
And that can get quite expensive.
Right, when you times it by 8 months and 4 years or longer, that is a lot of money, and that's probably the minimum, I bet. So in that CIBC survey, 50% of parents say they should have started saving sooner. So when should we start thinking about this?
Well, I think it's something that you really want to start as early as you possibly can. I mean, if you're just having children, and I know expenses are probably quite tight when you're a new mom or dad, but if you can find some way to put money aside into an RESP, it's always a good thing. And one of the reasons it's such a good thing is that the government will contribute back about 20% or match 20% of what you put in, up to $500 a year. And if you multiply that over the course of 16 or 17 years, that can really add up.
Right, of course. So the longer you're saving that, the more benefit you get, of course.
Yes.
So I would imagine kids go off to university, you've got the budget all set out, maybe they had a summer job and they're contributing, but I bet inevitably that money runs out sooner than everybody thinks. And then I bet those kids are calling mom and dad saying, hey, I need some money.
The bank of mom and dad gets drawn on again. And unless your child is going to school with some sort of background or education or even some experience on how to manage money, it's going to be really difficult for them. And they're going to find that all of a sudden it's the 15th or 16th of the month and they've gone through most of their budget. And now what do they do? Exactly.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about trying to instill these values in your kids and teaching them that, you know, money just is not an endless availability, that there's actually finite limits to it. So how do you instill those values in your kids and teach them about budgeting, and when should you start having those conversations?
Well, you need to have those conversations sooner than later. And the funny thing is, in our family, it started when my wife would go to the grocery store and we'd have the children in the shopping cart because they'd learn about, okay, well, we're going to buy this, but we're not going to buy that. We love all the sweet stuff, and then take them to the cash register and then see how much it costs and even give them the money to pay for it. So all of a sudden they get a better understanding of what it is. And as that kind of grows, you may even want to give them a budget for a meal or even a budget for their back to school shopping. And then they've got to be participating in how to save money so that they can get everything that they want. So these lessons have to start early and they have to continue throughout the rest of your life. In our family, we've done it with allowance. And many people think allowance should be geared to chores, but the reality is it's more about money management. And if you give them some idea about how they should be saving money, giving perhaps money back to charity, and then the rest is theirs. And then they can save or spend as they wish. So if they want something more expensive, they're going to have to wait a little bit longer. So there's some fantastic lessons there.
And I guess they're never too young to start that. My kids are 5 and 9 right now. Those are probably good ages to have these kinds of conversations.
Absolutely. I mean, you're definitely going to the grocery store, so I mean, you're going to be bringing your child along. It's not too early to start, and the 9-year-old probably has a good concept about different denominations of money at that point. So helping them out understand what it means to buy something with a certain amount of money is really a great lesson for them.
So Jeffrey, best advice for parents who are saying goodbye to their university-age kids right now as they set off with a little bit of money? What's the best advice to everyone?
I think whether it's the parents or the kids, it's make sure that they have a budget. It's the cornerstone of financial management. Help them understand what's coming in and what's going out, and then that's going to give them a better idea of how much money they have for the rest of the month and how they need to ration it out.
I think a lot of people are afraid of that word budget, but I think it's a very important word, especially when you're heading to university.
for sure. It can almost be liberating, if you will.
Okay, let's look at it that way. Jeffrey Schwartz, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
It's a pleasure.